What's up, everybody? It's Todd, Itinerant Herobe. Um, just hanging out, doing a little quick painting. I'm going to start these my provisional company. So I want to spend like 30 minutes to an hour getting this going. And let me do a couple housekeeping things here real quick, everybody. And let's see what I'm going to get going here. And now let me go this. So it's going to be probably might be a little jagged because I'm not connected hardwired here, so apologizing that for in advance. So the provisional companies, as I say, were African American companies, part of the several different armored divisions and infantry companies. But the one I'm looking at is for the 56th Armored Infantry Battalion, the one my grandfather was a part of, the Surface Company. I did a little research about, because they're obviously, I hate to say obviously, but they had white officers and white sergeants, but I know there were black sergeants, so I'm not clear totally on who was who. I've got a question into the 12th Armored Division forum group to kind of get some more detail on that, I hope. But for sure, the lieutenant, 1IC and 2IC were white, and then probably the and this is also a little bit of my ignorance of military structure that I'm working from here a little bit. So, because I know there are other sergeants besides just the platoon sergeant. So, pardon me, I got to get these hangers out of the way. Because, like I said, my son is taking over my closet here. Yes, I paint in a closet. Anywho, so let's take a look here. So they told me that I got some colors, some guides. I've only painted, Caucasian skin. So this is a new challenge, and I'm trying to be as respectful as I can, and and honoring as I can in this project. And so, so that's what I'm working on. But I want to do it as close to as I can to reality. So what do I do with this book? I don't need this book over right now. I need That's Glory, so I can look at my list. I have invited a couple people to maybe join me, and looks like we do have McMurray on with us. What's up, McMurray?
How are you now?
Hey.
How's life?
McMurray from Rocky's War Room.
Yeah, buddy.
You gonna work on something here in this next 30 minutes or so, or are you just here to chat?
A little bit of both. I've been 3D printing 6mm stuff like crazy. So
cool.
Yeah, I ran out back in the day. When I first got a ton of micro armor, like a few hundred German vehicles, I wound up ordering a bunch of miniatures from, or not miniatures, I'm sorry, bases from War Games Accessories, okay. Right? The little flat steel bases. Yeah, I really like those because I usually transport stuff just on a magnet sheet inside of a case, which is ungodly helpful, and a hell of a lot cheaper than foam for sure. But so I ordered, I don't know how, several hundred half-inch by inch bases just to put single tanks on. It's a bit of a pain with like a King Tiger, but at the same time, the ludicrousy of putting a Panzer I on a 1-inch by 1-inch base is just more than I could handle at the time. So, point being, I finally ran out of those, and it took me completely by surprise as I was basing these guys up. So, yeah.
Yeah, oh boy, I'm going to turn my thing down here to say it. I really like those War Game accessories. Those are the first bases I used for my 6mm when I did it.
Yeah, I'm a big AA. It doesn't raise it, especially with smaller scales. It always drives me nuts. Like I did 10 and even 15 mil on MDF at some point, and on each of them, it seems like they just with smaller scales. I mean, you're even with 3 mil MDF, which on 28 mil miniature is no big deal at all. You're all of a sudden you've got ludicrously tall 6 mil dudes, and it's like, wait a minute, hold on. All this stuff that I built to scale with 6 mil all of a sudden looks goofy as hell with these guys right next to them. Like the one thing that sticks out in my mind is I made walls one time that I intentionally made like right at 4.5, 5 mil high.
Yeah.
And then I put some miniatures on MBF behind them. It was just like, wait a minute, we're protecting their boots. This looks goofy. But yeah, I mean they're dirt cheap. The 1.5 or the 1/2 inch by inch ones, it's like $6 or whatever the pack price. I think it's $6.50 now for 40 of them. Done all day long.
No, good price.
Yeah, that's what I wound up basing my my stuff for Ramble on as well. Using
okay, that makes
2
sense.
inch by 1.75 inch. Yeah, it's perfect size for a 6 mil. I usually, depending on who it is, I usually get anywhere from 16 to 25 infantry on there.
Okay. I'm going to not be able to listen to you for a second. Hold on, please.
Yeah, you're good.
I need to post this on Rocky's War Room here to.
Oh.
You get all dual feedback here. By the time I get all this stuff posted, I'm gonna have to get off the air. So I need to figure out what's important: posting or doing my work.
It happens.
All right, so I can share that. I don't need to get that. And so copy, blah blah blah. Everyone can hear me kind of clicking around and blah blah, blah blah blah. Rocky's War Room. I don't ever get to do these. Being on furlough is a bummer, but I also get to take time to do this sort of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. There it is. I'll just post it with no comment. No comment. No comment. All right, there we go. It may be a picture of my sleeve.
Such is life.
That's what they're good. Such is life. Okay, there we go. All right. Ooh, that's some good picture right there. That's some good video right there. There we go. All right. So I'm trying to figure out, I'm doing this provisional companies, right, which are the first integrated platoons companies into the World War II. Trying to figure out, they had white officers. I'm trying to figure out, okay, which ones would be, so you have a captain in charge of the company. So that's going to be an officer from the sprue of Flames of War. Then you have this 2IC. So what is the second in command? What rank was that? What is another captain? Was it probably
for a company? For a company?
Yeah.
Probably first lieutenant.
That's what I would think. So I'll make those two guys. I need to make them different though. So who is that? That's an officer, and that's an NCO. Oh, I did my count wrong. So lieutenants, I need 3 platoons, so I'll need 3
lieutenants, then an XO. So 4 lieutenants probably.
4 lieutenants. Tell me again why that is.
3 platoons and then 1 second, 1 2IC.
Oh yes, gotcha. Yep. So then that's 5 officers, but I get on this sprue, I get 6, 7 officers. So
yeah.
Other officers be used for?
Because that's how they lay out their sprues. So, I mean,
to be honest, to be fair, yeah, you're right. So, which one's officers? The red ones or the officers? Okay. All right. So,
what book are you in, Todd?
Right now, in Blood, Guts, and Glory. Just looking at the Armored Rifle Company. They're all the Armored Rifle Companies are the same. I also looked it up in Nuts, which also has, and then the Flames of War Forces book, version 3.
Yeah.
And they're all the same. it's just fun having 3 books stacked on my desk here. So
the extra meat in each book is what's fun for me.
What's that?
The extra meat in each book is what I, particularly enjoy when they get into the details of stuff.
Yeah, no, they got some good stuff. I'm kind of reading them a little closer, even after you and my conversation last time. What order do you paint your stuff as far as like face, clothes, helmets, guns?
With 15 mil, I've been actually working my way through. I think it's Plastic Soldier Company. I have a bunch of their primers that are really good for uniform base coats. So I've been just priming in those colors. Then I'll do a dry brush of something over that to just bring out the high parts of the uniform.
Yep.
Then hit guns, boots, and flesh in no particular order. Although usually I'll do guns first because that makes it a whole lot easier painting a hand or two onto a rifle. And then if there's a difference, honestly, in the equipment versus the uniform, I'll do equipment as well. But for a good amount of the combatants in World War II, there's not a huge difference.
Yeah.
But I was just lucky enough to find, primers that worked for the basic uniform colors.
Yeah, I like that concept. I didn't really have that. I based my just because I read someone else did this and I didn't have another primer to spray. I used German field gray on the Americans actually.
It works. It works. It really does. Especially that's the thing with 15 mil and smaller. If you want details to pop, you have to use kind of bright colors.
Yep.
Which, as soon as you understand and accept that, I'm not saying you throw, traditional uniform colors out the window, but all of a sudden making sure you have the right shade gets a whole lot less important. And it becomes more about, do I like the way that this looks? And does it look good? And with Americans, what you said you're painting for Blood, Guts, and Glory?
Yeah.
That's Normandy, right?
Yeah, but this is a armored infantry company that came into play, and that's why I was looking at the Nuts book. Late February, early March 1945. So they only had a couple months of fighting, but.
Oh, okay, never mind. I'm about to say, if you're doing Normandy, the nice thing is there you've got the creative liberty to be able to use the khaki uniform as well as the OD.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I painted up an entire company of airborne one time in khaki. Because, again, my first Flames of War book that I really got into and sunk my teeth into is D-1.
Right.
And I think it was either the 101st or the 82nd. One of them jumped in with OD uniforms. One of them jumped in with khaki. I want to say it was the 101st jumped in with khaki. And yeah, so that was good. That was helpful because at the time it was, oh man, I already had this tan. What am I going to do with it? Oh, there you go. Count it.
Well, all I know is that I was not prepared to do this, man. I'm doing more time setting up than doing it, but that's normal, right? That's our hobby.
Oh, I say it sounds like an average day over here. Yeah, I think I might. What's up?
Oh, no, go ahead.
No, I've actually been printing things based on Flames of War companies, just obviously in 6 mil, not necessarily intending to use Flames of War, rules, but their company structure at least, because it's for the most part not too bad. It gets, once it gets right down to it, most things wind up having a 5-tank platoon, which isn't a huge deal. Point being, I wound up printing out even like early war French armor. Like I printed out a bunch of Renault R35s and Somois. Just, I don't know.
Yeah, it would be nice to do that because I'm in need of 15 to 16 half tracks.
Right.
And so I'm like,
Let's see here.
a lot.
Yeah, no, it's the files that I'm using are. I mean, I guess they're free on Thingiverse. I would assume I could talk about them. M. Bergman, a guy on Thingiverse, created files for an ungodly number of vehicles in 1 to 200, which is a bit of an odd scale, but whatever. It makes it easy to size up to 15 or down to 6.
Okay.
I've not tried printing anything in 15. I tried printing a 28 millimeter little Italian L6.
Okay.
And it got a little screwy on me. I don't know. But the 6 mil stuff I've had a reasonable success rate with. That is always the pain in the ass, though, with especially World War II gaming, is winding up with enough trucks or Jeeps or half tracks.
And part of it is I don't know if I'd actually ever game with that many, but I'm again kind of like I did in 6 mil when I did the whole 56th Armored Infantry Battalion at platoon scale. I'm gonna do this, at least kind of model it. Use them in game. I don't know.
Yeesh. I was about to say I just scaled up one of these things to 15 mil, and I don't know how well that's gonna work. Let me try using one of the more complex models.
So how's the 3D printing working out?
It's good. I can tell that some stuff is not necessarily as I don't know. It seems like some stuff doesn't scale down as well.
Oh, really?
So as I'm doing it, I get some failures, and then I use a different file, and it works great.
Okay.
But I mean, learning curve with everything. So, but yeah, it's fun. A lot of, again, I'm not good at it. I lucked into a 3D printer, so I'm not.
Right,
like you got guys out there who sit down and they plan all this stuff out, and this is where I'm going to put my supports, and I have no friggin' idea. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But it's the learning curve hasn't been too ungodly steep to the point where I'm screwed. So it's been fun. I'm having a good time with it.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, Chris, AK Not Jay's been doing a lot of stuff, and I sent him some files to print for me some Arnhem building, so I'm looking forward to that.
Nice. That'll be good.
Yeah, I'm excited about to see what those look like. I mean, we're waiting to do it till I let's see, what's the word? Oh yeah, get paid again. But get off this furlough deal. But I'm excited to see what those come out like.
Did you get like a big old Kickstarter, like entire Kickstarter's worth of buildings for that?
Yeah, there's a guy who's done a bunch of those. He's done Normandy. I think you've used some of the Normandy stuff.
Yeah, a German guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did a Kickstarter, but I got it after the Kickstarter. I just paid $50 for, I don't know, all the files.
Yeah, just a ton of stuff. Yeah.
It's awesome. I mean, he's got them all. He's got all the bridges, everything. I'm just I'll do the Soane Bridge and then some of the iconic buildings. And it's hard to find like farmhouses in that.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
Are like French and German that you can find out there in the world, but these are more Dutch.
Yeah, I really wanted to do a row houses board. Like that was just entirely row houses, and then I realized how ludicrously expensive that would be to do in pretty much any medium.
Yeah, and that's what some of them are. Like the iconic scenes in like A Bridge Too Far stuff for Sean Connery and whoever. I don't know. I can't remember the general they were.
Yeah, no, I got
you. They're kind of in that sort of thing, and they're hiding out from tanks and.
Yeah, like how cool would that be?
Well, yeah, because then they got it's a little bit more skirmish, but I mean, then they're going in and out of the alleyways, and so I mean, even in like the scale of Flames of War or one of the other company scales, you could have your leader kind of lost, kind trying to get back.
I could have swore there was a Flames of War when they put out their big push there, not right at the end of version 3, but towards the end was, bridge by bridge and all that stuff. I think they put out a couple scenarios with stuff like that. That'd be a really cool one to do with like Fistful of Lead.
Right, yeah, one of the smaller skirmish ones.
Yeah, where you've got one British player who's got, Roy Urquhart and 2 or 3 aides, and then a couple German players just running around with the little whatever the grunt rules are, where they're basically it's a way to make it, like a movie where your main character gets shot in the arm and he's fine, but then that grunt gets winged and he's down. It's an interesting way to game it out in a fun, kind of fashion. But that'd be a cool, yeah. Then even in 28 mil, you could do it and it'd just be good, clean fun.
Good, clean fun. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you could do that in a lot of rule sets. I mean, I think you could even make it happen in Bolt Action or something.
Yeah, absolutely. We used to game all kinds of goofy stuff using the chain of command rules.
Yeah, that'd be a good one too.
It's good. Again, I like the little bit more command coordination you can get with chain of command, while at the same time being incredibly frustrated by, that natural friction that Rich Clark and Nick Skinner managed to build in there. But yeah, that's great. We did an Easter game, an Irish War of Independence game a few years back that was pretty delightful using, I say delightful, fun to play using again chain of command. That was pretty fun to play. Good gravy. But all the fun in the world, right?
All the fun in the world. Yeah, sorry, I'm kind of. Oh man, this guy's finger broke off. Oh, this officer has no finger.
That's okay. He's just punching out, pointing with his fist. He's a karate master now.
Just pointing finger, telling him where to go. They call him Stubby.
Yeah.
Behind his back.
Yeah. Never to his face.
Well, I don't know. Maybe he'd go for that. He might go for Stubby. Throw off the new guys. Throw them off like they call me Stubby. Like, oh crap. Really?
Yeah. No, just call me Stubby, kid. What?
So I'm painting these on the sprue. I've never done this before.
Yeah.
Thought I'd give it a shot. Because sometimes it's hard when you got them all based up. Though I do tell you, I love basing them immediately because it kind of gives me a feeling of progress.
Yeah. Right.
And also to kind of make sure I got what I need. And
I used to always put them on popsicle sticks.
Yep, I've done that too.
Done that. But every now and then, like when I got all those Bacchus 6 mil figures.
I was going to ask what you do with 6.
Oh my God. Well, most 6 that I get is on frames. Like the GHQ and everything, it's on a strip already. And then you just cut it off, not a strip like rank and file troops, but it's on a sprue like that, but it only, grabs onto the underside of the base. So there I just paint them on those and it's fantastic. I paint up 50, 60 of them in an evening pretty easily. But oh man, the Bacchus stuff is all single based. And it was one of those, I am not gluing, 500 6 mil guys to a popsicle stick when, easily half of their legs are going to break off. So I'm going to try and get them off there. Nope. So I think I haven't decided. I haven't been able to pull the trigger either way, but I think I'm probably just going to wind up putting them on bases, priming them, and then painting what I can get to. I don't know. That's rough.
Okay, so yes, I'm going to try painting a few on the sprue, because then you can kind of handle the sprue.
Yeah.
I am guessing here. So then, so far, my first things here, it's been okay.
Good.
So this is an older plastic company that I'm painting here.
Plastic flames oil models. It's been a while.
It's the harder ones. Okay, so then the sergeants were also white. So I'm going to paint.
I wouldn't necessarily do all of them like that. You know what I mean? Like they're African American NCOs and everything.
There were, but in charge of each platoon, there was a white lieutenant and a white sergeant.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Never
When they
mind.
started, they may have changed that, but that's kind of how they started. So like, well, I'll try to be as.
That's fair.
No, but there definitely was, because the guy I did a little story on my channel was a staff sergeant who got the Medal of Honor posthumously, but Edward Carter. You know, one of those simple stories, just let a group of guys out in front of some firing machine guns and ends up, he's the one that gets out and gets up there and takes 6 prisoner, kills 2, or vice versa, or whatever.
Yeah. Does some serious Sergeant York type stuff.
That's crazy, man. What stuff you read. And all right, let's look at this here again. So all the officers. So then
Oh, get out, Warlord. Warlord just put out a Italian plastic tank sprue. Get out of here. Only taking you 10 years, you dicks. I don't know. I really enjoyed when they just put out resin vehicles
Oh, resin. Okay, yeah.
because it was, 3 parts. They were, solid enough to throw at somebody when you got angry. Um, like the M8 Greyhound kit and M20 command car is hands down like the worst kit I've ever put together just because they've got like suspension and shit on the bottom of it. I don't need this. Come on. Like, I'm not gonna go put this on the GM at Chrysler's desk. Like I'm gonna put this on a table
And play with it and drop it.
Yeah.
So when you when you'd base up, would you put a sergeant with an officer still like in the combat platoon? So it's a command rifle team of 3 guys, a rifle team of 4, and then a bazooka team. Where would you put the sergeant? Would you base him with the lieutenant or in the rifle team?
Usually with the lieutenant.
Okay, so then the captain and this 2 IC probably each need a sergeant as well.
Yep. Or just some random ground pounder.
I need 5 white sergeants. The rest will be African American. Sweet.
Warlord has also broken into making their own or selling their own lasers.
Oh, yeah. It's probably the same ones.
No, they are. No, they're quite literally the same ones as the Army Painter ones. They just have a Warlord like shrink wrap on them.
I wouldn't mind getting a laser. So I got the Army Painter. I need a straight laser as well.
Oh yeah.
Just makes a dot.
Yeah. They're handy. I wound up getting just for like a laser pointer laser. Again, next to game night, there's Dollar General, and we walked in there one time and noticed they had laser pointers for $1. It was like, oh look, there you go.
Yeah, right. Perfect.
Look at that.
Yeah, I mean, I probably have one, or the kids, or somebody we probably already have one in the house somewhere. So
Yeah. Yep. Again, then that was that's the nice thing about again it being a Dollar General is that whenever we have inevitably somebody forgets a tape measure, so usually there's somebody who's got 3 or 4 of them sitting there, and they're not great tape measures. They're not Stanley Fat Maxes, but guess what? They got inches on them, so good enough for me. All right, let's see how.
we got one person watching, unless that's me.
Unless that. Oh man, what the hell is that?
Uh-oh.
This is one of those disappointing days of 3D printing.
Uh-oh.
man. What a bummer. It's just it sucks because then you got to empty like the little pool of the vat of resin that you dump into because inevitably there's crap stuck to the bottom of it.
Okay.
Where it didn't stick to the build plate. Gotta make like Blink 182 and put on my weird nurse gloves here.
I'll take your word for it.
Is that after your time, Todd?
What's that?
I'm sorry. There used to be a Blink 182 cover or album cover where it was a nurse putting a blue plastic glove on.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. That was shortly thereafter those that resurgence of bluegrass when you were a kid.
Okay.
I don't even remember what the hell I was trying to print.
All right, so I'm doing 5 sergeants here. 1 for each platoon, and then 1 for the 1 IC and 2 IC. And then the rest will be black sergeants, black troops. Okay, so
I stayed up, Todd, this morning, and I wound up getting on Matt's.
Oh yeah. I watched a little bit of that.
Yeah, that was terrifyingly over my head, Todd. I don't know. I was like, oh, this is way farther out than I thought. Never mind.
Yeah, those guys seem like nice guys though.
Oh, they were great guys. It was just like, again, it was one of those maybe I'll pick up on something and I'll be able to ask a question. Nah, nope. Wound up having to ask about the feasibility and logistics behind, expediting something like Taco Tuesday when you're talking about quadrillions of people. That's all I could come up with.
Yeah, that's what it was like when I was on there. But they were kind of talking about basics, so I could kind of ask some basic questions,
Yeah, it was good. Those guys are super knowledgeable, which was cool.
Well, that and super knowledgeable, and just I don't know, just I like their channel, kind of like what they were doing, and I'd never really knew anything about Tim. It's Tim, right? Tim Bancroft, and so I learned about a new channel and watched a few of their vids. I like what they're doing. Got some good energy.
Yeah. Luke's APS used to be my go-to YouTube channel, and recently here his business is taking off, gangbusters, which is outstanding for him. But I miss all the goofy ass old tutorial videos.
Well, it's cool how he started. He's able to doing something with it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I learned a lot of stuff about basing and terrain making and stuff from that guy. He does incredible work.
I think I might be the slowest painter ever.
No, watch not J Paint.
I'll watch it more closely next time.
I know a lot of people who will paint, I kid you not, 1 miniature at a time. And it's one of those guys I would legitimately go beyond crazy if I tried doing that. More power to you. And, inevitably their stuff looks great because they're doing it 1 miniature at a time. But holy ripes, man, there's no way I'd be able to do that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I'd drive myself full-blown nuts trying to paint, a platoon or company of something. 1 man at a time. Whew.
Well, that's one thing I like about the idea of painting them on bases. Then you can maybe kind of focus on a base and okay, cool, I got a base done. And then, because when you're doing it like this, I got 6 sprues of 152 guys or whatever. It's a little intimidating. So it's like, okay, how do I do this in bite-sized chunks? And there's a lot of people that have a lot of different methods and thoughts on that, which all work fine.
I've honestly gotten a lot better. I always did, bash painting, and
And then, as it worked, the challenge is always, well, okay, how do I go from a batch of 10 to a batch of 20?
Okay.
Whatever. And I've gotten, with Flames of War, I've found that once I've based them up, I can, depending on, how in depth I'm really wanting to get, I've been able to do, bases of, or increments of, a platoon or two. I basically just broke it down in my brain like 28 mil figs. I can get it by all right doing, all right, I'm gonna do these 20 guys, all one color, move on to the next one. It's a little rougher in 15. Obviously doing a full base of 5 guys doesn't really equate to doing 1 guy in 28, but made it work.
All right, so we got, I don't know if they're still on. I don't think they're still on because I don't have them. So Modeling for Advantage is on. It's a great channel. Let's watch your most recent one. Good stuff. Gun Barrel. What's Todd pontificating about? I'm not going to tell you. Love Luke's apps. So it says Modeling Advantage, and Gun Barrel then says, Todd, this is what he's saying. Slowest everything ever. Oh, come on now.
Come on now. That's not polite.
Man, there's no need to get rude. He is my arch nemesis, though. So we pretty much go at it all the time. So I got that. Like some other colors here. Colors. The thing I'm not doing, shaking paint on the camera.
That's always my favorite, is shaking paint while.
Yeah, it's lovely. Some chocolate brown, I got flat brown, I'm not going to do that, I don't think. So I'm looking at my color recipes here.
Oh man, you're one of those people?
I have to, man. I can't remember what I paint. I don't, I've tried to do recipes before. I'm like, I can't ever, I don't know. I'm just, so I know about the Colors of War book, man. I just look at that thing.
I just go with it. Yeah, no, I can never remember what I do either, which makes it real embarrassing. And also partly why I paint like an entire platoon at a time now. Like with 28 no World War II. Yeah, because it's bad. Like, why do these guys have different? All right, shut up. Look, supply chain problems. Okay, leave me alone. Leave me alone. Because it's Germany in 1945. Like, that equipment's from a factory a block away that came out yesterday, and that equipment's left over from World War One. Leave me alone. Go be a poopy pants somewhere else.
What am I painting? I'll tell you in just a second.
It's super cool, guys.
I pick up paint without shaking it. I know I don't mind shaking it. It's just shaking it on camera. It's just kind of weird. I don't know. It's a weird sound. So I'm painting a provisional company. Go see my previous video where I do a little memorial thing for. So my grandfather was a supply in 56th Armored Infantry Battalion, 12th Armored Division, and then they were one of the first divisions to take provisional companies, which is when we integrated Black troops into actual combat roles. There were 53 platoons, or give or take, created, and then they went into armored infantry battalions and regular infantry divisions. And so I'm painting up a provisional company. And so they were usually Company D, but they were called provisional companies, which I find interesting. But so I'm just going to paint one of those up in armored infantry. I'll have to get the half tracks and all that. But I bought this set, for $10 at a show one time when a guy was like trying to get rid of his inventory. I've probably had it sitting there for 3 or 4 years, and probably 5 years. I'm like, well, you know what? It's time to do it. And I want to do this. Gives me a project to work on in addition to the other stuff I'm working on. So that's that. And now I'm just trying to come up with my recipe for painting skin. All right, so if I go with that,
Oh man. Leveling the print bed. Here we go, Todd.
I'll do that. What's that?
I'm just trying to figure out why that didn't work. So I'm going to re-level the print bed. Cleaned out the vat. Got new resin in the vat. It's frustrating. So they say you need to shake the resin real well. But then they also say you shouldn't have air bubbles in your resin. And it's like, well, so here's the deal. Shaking a liquid usually makes bubbles. And also, screw you guys. Yeah. No, it's good. Beep, beep. But so I'm hoping this makes it work. I think I'm going to try and do a couple 15 mil half tracks here.
Oh, sweet.
But yeah, I thought there were a lot more. 1 to 2,400 World War II ship files out there than there actually are, and I'm kind of disappointed now.
1 to 2,400.
Yeah, so like the GHQ CNC scale.
Yep. Okay. I thought the scale sounded familiar.
Yeah, I was real excited to not pay $15 a ship anymore for capital ships, and as it turns out, I'm a dum-dum, and that doesn't exist.
Well, gosh, McMurray, all you have to do is design your own.
Yeah, right? If there's one thing I'm good at, it's computers. But, yeah, no.
And there's none you can scale? I thought you could scale files pretty easily.
Yeah, to a certain extent, except for when you get into, like, big scale changes. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Especially on the downward angle. Because going, from a small scale file up to a large scale file, well, that's pretty simple, right? It's not too bad. You're just going to not have a super detailed model. Going the opposite direction, though, the computer thinks it's going to print something at, this small of a scale, when in actuality, the physical printing can't handle that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So, like, you take something that's 1 to 300, and the gun barrels are a millimeter across. Once you scale that down 8 times, they're 2 mils across. Once you scale that down 8 times, all of a sudden they're 0.3 of a millimeter across, and that's pretty. It's pretty difficult to get a hold of once you get it out there, and it's, oh shit, that's really thin. That's not going to support. That's not going to print well.
Oh, I got it. Yeah, there's things that need to be abstracted at certain scales, and
yeah, so that's where, at those small scales, you usually get those details kind of blown up in terms of gun barrels are a little thicker, stuff like that. Or they're just directly laid onto the hull. Like there's not a big gap there, which can cause pretty big problems when you get really low there. If the gun barrels are like, I don't know if you ever, the different manufacturers you usually find for ships at that scale are obviously GHQ and CNC.
okay.
Those are pretty good ones. GHQ is just everything GHQ does is crazy detailed, what have you.
Great.
CNC, same thing. Really well proportioned. People really overblow the difference between CNC and GHQ stuff. Like if you don't have them literally right next to one another, the scale is a negligible difference. There's just not as much insane detail, which I kind of like on stuff when you get really small,
Yeah.
Unless your brush control is absurd, you're going to screw up painting it anyways. And my brush control isn't absurd, so I screw up painting stuff a lot. Those look great. Get after it, Todd. I like it.
The camera and the lighting is not great for showing, but I tell you what, I love the way the brown is going on these figures. It's looking really good. I'm super pumped now.
Big fan. Big fan. But then there's a company called Panzerschiffe, which makes like plasticky stuff that honestly looks like it's real early resin 3D printing, but it's not. I mean, it's just kind of poopily molded or poopily designed, but that's the style that works really well. All right, let's see. Let's get this loaded up onto flash drive. And
all right, so I'm going to get this one painted up. And so gun barrel, you talk about open fire. I got an open fire box set pre-built for the Americans that I do need to definitely paint, and those are based, and I'll just paint those up as paratroopers or something. Of course, I cheat and use figures as paras or regular infantry.
That's okay. Have you seen oh my god, Warlord's 28 mil paratroopers? They have like 2 metal boxes or 1 metal pack that is actual like D-Day style paratroopers. Okay. And the rest of them just look like leg infantry. And it's like, what the hell? What am I paying for here, Warlord? Like, this is goofy as heck. Like, I realized, yes, eventually, depending on where you are in the war, paratroopers got used as normal infantry. Like, if it's Battle of the Bulge type stuff, I get it. Whatever, Then I'll paint winter infantry, and they'll be, the 101st. Because, everybody has on a winter coat. Everybody was kung fu fighting in the wintertime. But, like, if I'm doing market garden, I want my guys to look like paratroopers. As pathetic as that sounds, like, come on now.
Yeah, but some of their, especially when they jump, some of their uniforms are a little different, right?
Yeah. So again, like at D-Day, their uniforms were drastically different.
Yeah, like, that's right.
And that's what's really cool with those two, or with that metal box that they used to have. And then they have like, I think they've got a 1919 LMG pack or 2 that are in that same uniform. But then that's almost it. They might have like a command pack. I think they do. But I remember it was frustrating because I was trying to do, again, I painted up the figures to refight 3-Corps Manor. So that assault on the 4 German 105s that happened on June 6th.
Yep.
I painted those up. I painted figures up for that to be painted or to be played at 1-to-1 and 28 mil. So, 21 paratroopers and then 4 German 105s and about 60 German infantry to go along with that. And it was frustrating trying to find good paratrooper models because the ones that Warlord makes, it was like playing Finns again. Like there's 10 of them that are good, and then you just got to repeat and mix random stuff in so you don't lose your mind.
Interesting.
But, yeah. Such is life, right?
I know. The problems we have.
Yeah. Poor us.
Boy.
That's right. I have on here also not a great big build plate, but a build plate just crammed full of half tracks and 6 mil too.
Oh, brother.
When you need half tracks, you need half tracks, right?
That's right.
I ended up printing a lot of universal carriers.
Oh yeah, I could definitely use more of those. Especially as I get in market garden and doing some more 30-core stuff, I'm going to need some more.
That's the thing. Even with 30-core stuff, you're looking at a lot more half tracks than carriers.
That's true. They did use a lot of that.
Like, you can get because I was looking, again, I've been fiddling around on Flames of War, the list, FOW list blogspot thing. And, yeah, I think
I couldn't find anything that used more than one scout platoon of carriers. Granted, that's 12 carriers, but I definitely accidentally set it to run again, so I'm pretty sure I have like 30 something of them now. Oops.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Oops. But
yeah, I'm thinking about getting. So I was like perusing like eBay and gaming models and stuff like. Okay, where am I going to get? Looks like the cheapest I'm going to be able to get them for is half tracks for $5 each.
Yeah, from game models.
Game models, and then I saw some you can find on eBay. People selling some of the just sell. I don't know if they're Battlefront or Plastic Soldier or something that are $5 each, but they're yeah. So I could possibly find them, but it's going to be stretching it.
Yeah, Plastic Soldier Company. If you order it from the right spot, it should be right around $5, if not a little bit less. But at the same time, gaming models, I don't know. I really like their just everything that he does in terms of he doesn't give. He's just out there to have fun and make models for everybody to play with.
Now, I mean, I have a Plastic Soldier Company that came in something I bought one time, a set, and it is pretty awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Look at that thing.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yep.
Oh, and I'm like, I get that, and I see the gaming models, and I have a couple gaming models, and they're great for what they are. And I'm like, it's gonna be hard to.
That's ridiculous. Yeah.
But this is like $7 to $8 each. I mean, on average.
Yeah.
And I have to assemble them.
Yeah, that's my big thing is that putting the Plastic Soldier Company stuff together can be a pain in the butt sometimes.
I can see this one would be. It's the sides and all that, but the detail is so awesome. I think I just need to get some stowage and put them on the game model stuff.
Yeah, that's I've always had good success just kind of dressing up with the little stuff, putting a camel roll on or something like that. That's always been my my go-to for game model stuff. Just those little bit extras that don't take a whole lot of doing, but you can do. Oh yeah, don't forget about Zvezda. You can usually find their stuff pretty cheap. Again,
I did forget about them. That didn't come up in any searches. That's a good idea. Thank you.
Yeah, you can. Again, it's usually pretty cheap. It's putting together a model, just like the Plastic Soldier Company stuff. But
their models are pretty good, though. I've liked what I've had of theirs.
They are. I that's where I built a bunch of, like, for my fins. It was always frustrating because I'd need like 1 or 2 pieces of Soviet armor, but I didn't want to pay that like $10 to $12 for whatever Battlefront wanted for it.
Yep.
Yeah, and Zvezda was always a good alternative there, which was nice. Let's see here.
All right. Time for me to check out. I go make dinner. McMurray, thanks for jumping on with me, man.
Have a good one. I'll talk to you later, Todd.
All right. See ya. Thanks, everybody, for hopping on. Gun Barrel, Modeling for Advantage. Good video channels. Go check them out. Someone else coming in that I'm forgetting here. Hold on. Gun Barrel. Oh, no, I guess just those 2 guys. So those are 2 good channels to go check out. Even Gun Barrel, who still owes me $2. Okay. We'll see y'all. Bye. End broadcast.